Hello, everyone. This is Kelly Gladden with the Kelly Gladden Show, and I'm here with Julie Solis. How are you today, Julie?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited. So she's quite a pillar of the community. She does quite a few things. On this segment, we're going to talk about specifically valley fever. So how did you get involved with valley fever?
So coccidioidomycosis is really near and dear to my heart. In 2007, my husband started getting sick around Christmas time. I was teaching, and so during our whole vacation, my husband was ill. He had gotten his flu shot, so I didn't think much of his illness. And when our vacation was over, it was time to go back to work, and he was still ill. I made a doctor's appointment, took my husband in, and they said he had the flu, gave him some medicine. In 10 days, the medicine was done, and he was sicker, so I brought him back. He had bronchitis. They gave him some more medication. Medicine ended, we went back, and now he had pneumonia.
Wow.
Gave him some more medicine. Medicine ended, I brought him back, and now they didn't know what was wrong with him. So then they started a battery of testing. They started with very common things, AIDS, they checked for lupus, they were checking for different, just everything in your blood that they can look, all your blood cells and everything. They couldn't figure it out, they didn't know what was wrong with him. We continued to keep going to the doctor. It was doctor visit,
wow.
misdiagnosis.
How long did it take before they decided to test for valley fever?
Over 6 months.
Wow.
So it was, so many doctors. I mean, we went, one time, we brought him to the eye doctor, we brought him to the dentist, chiropractor, I mean, everywhere. And then June 8, 2008, I walked in the door from summer school, and my husband was in the recliner in our room, and I thought my husband was dead. My husband was jaundiced. He just didn't even look like he was alive anymore. When I rushed over to the recliner, my husband was laying there, and you could just feel the heat coming off his body.
Wow.
I called 911, and
which is a good sign because
yes,
he was alive.
I knew he was alive when
Right.
I felt the heat, so I immediately called 911. We had 3 children. They were 2nd, 3rd, and 4th graders, so they knew the drill. Because of the 6 months, every time I called 911, they'd get on the bed, my son in the middle, he'd hold the 2 girls, and they'd cry until my sister-in-law would arrive, and I'd leave in the ambulance. So this was kind of becoming a routine during his misdiagnosis. However, on June 8, 2008, there was a difference when we went in the emergency room. Right away when we brought him in, the doctor that was on call took a look at my husband, brought him to an isolation room, and within about the first 5 minutes of being in the hospital, they did a lumbar puncture on my husband, and those little tubes, I don't know if you've ever seen those tubes. So they're supposed to be like clear, crystal clear water.
Right.
It looked like dirty swamp water.
Wow.
It looked like they got some Lamont water and put in that tube.
Wow.
I mean, it was just filthy. And
there's some congressional water.
Yeah, absolutely. And so immediately, the doctor hands the tube to the nurse. They don't put a sticker. She ran out of the room. And it's then that he told me my husband was dying. He told me that my husband had meningitis.
Wow.
They were not sure if it was West Nile or valley fever. I told the doctor he had been tested for West Nile. It was common in 2008.
Right. All the birds were dying.
Do you remember that big scare? Everybody, West Nile. So I told him he had been tested, and so they kind of isolated my husband and offered chaplain services to me.
Wow.
We had 3 small children, so that day when they offered me chaplain services,
your whole life passed before you.
I didn't know what to do. I declined the chaplain services because I knew that my husband's will to survive was so strong, and so I just laid on my husband for 3 days. I slept in a chair with my head on his legs, and I prayed. I bargained with God. I promised so many things which I've kept true in exchange for my husband, and so my husband's been living with cocci meningitis for 10 years now.
Wow.
Terrible disease, and I didn't know about valley fever until that
Now,
day.
is that a complication from valley fever?
Absolutely. Dissemination, which is the worst form of valley fever, is
Okay.
when it spreads outside of your lungs.
Okay.
When you breathe in valley fever, it goes into your lungs. And if you're
If you get it
diagnosed,
quick, it's contained.
absolutely.
Okay.
So once you're diagnosed quickly, timely, it stays in your lungs. You take meds and you're good. If you're not diagnosed properly, it can disseminate through your body, and you'll have to be on medication for the rest of your life.
Wow.
So my husband's been living with that.
My husband and father both have had valley fever.
Oh goodness.
Fortunately, they're both okay, but
Okay, so about 3 months after my husband was diagnosed, I noticed our daughter, who was in second grade, Marisol, was really tired.
Oh my goodness.
We had a swimming pool in the backyard, and my other two were swimming, and one day I told her it had been a few days of her just kind of laying around, so I said, Marisol, why don't you go swimming? And she said, Mom, when I wake up in the morning, I feel like it's time to go to bed again. I'm so tired.
oh,
I immediately
you tested her.
I knew the signs, and I
Yeah.
knew exhaustion was a sign. She didn't have any other sign other than exhaustion. So I called the pediatrician. I got her in the next morning, and at first the pediatrician didn't want to test her. The pediatrician actually told me that my daughter was probably a little depressed watching everything.
Yeah.
And then I told the doctor, but no, doctor, she needs tested.
Yeah, because there's a chance if the dad got it, the child could have been in the same place.
Absolutely. Well, and the determining factor to valley fever is our DNA.
Right.
So when one family member has it, your chances of another family member are
I didn't know
increased
that.
because of the DNA. Absolutely.
Now, does your husband know where he got it at?
We don't know. At
Does
the
he work
time,
out? What type of job did he do?
so my husband was a truss designer. He worked out in the Shafter area by the
Okay.
airport. So he built, like 3/4 of all the new construction in Kern County. My husband, he did the trusses for them.
Okay.
But then at the same time,
For those of you who don't know, that's the big support beam that goes on top that holds the building together with the roof stays on.
absolutely. So it's that
Catastrophic
Well,
insurance adjuster.
There you go. Okay. So and we drive
got
by.
man talk.
Yes, my husband. He'd be like, "Oh, that's a witch's hat." That's a he'd be naming all these trusses. They have names too.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he worked in new construction, but he worked in an office.
So it could have been anywhere.
It could have been anywhere. We had a brand new home that we built from the ground up, and they were building an elementary school across the street.
It could have been. So what happened with your daughter? How did her test go?
So the doctor finally gave in after my third time. I actually had to tell the doctor, I said, if you don't test her, I'm just going to take her somewhere else.
Right.
So the doctor tested her, and about 3 days later, the phone rang. The doctor called and apologized and said that Marisol did have valley fever. And she called the pharmacy and she started medication that day.
Wow.
So it was really scary. We brought Marisol to the doctor. And I think that through all this, the hardest part was when the doctor told her that she had valley fever.
Because she assumed that it would escalate to where her father was.
Absolutely. She actually started just freaking out. She had it was just the hardest. She started screaming. She was crying. She said, "I don't want to die. I don't want to die like Daddy is." She was just so afraid that she was going to decline. And I got down on my knees to her level, and I was crying. And I told her, I said, "Marisol, we didn't know about valley fever with Dad. That's why it happened.
Right.
But we know about valley fever now, and I promise you're not going to get sick."
So what can we do in order to help the cause? Because it's been around at least 100 years that we've known of, and there's not enough research. We're starting to have more. It's becoming more of a popular disease, if that's not a horrible saying, but
Absolutely. So today's August 1st, which is Valley Fever Awareness Month. There you come. And it's also Wear Your Shirt Wednesday. So throughout the year on Wednesdays, we wear our shirts and we share Valley Fever stories.
okay, so a blue shirt.
Yes, And then we also have some I didn't wear today, but they have the signs on them. So the best thing, there's no prevention because we all breathe.
Right.
But knowing the signs and being diagnosed diagnosed early and not being afraid to speak up.
Right. I've been tested like 3 times.
Good
and
for you.
It's my thyroid.
Okay, I have hypothyroidism issues as well.
I'm waiting. I just got a call from let's just go live. So I have a nodule on my thyroid,
I'm so sorry to
they
hear that.
tested it. They have the results. They weren't telling me on the phone. I have to go in. Going to Lake Tahoe next week, and I'm the type of person I'd rather not know till after my vacation. I mean, it's either thyroid cancer or it's not.
Wow, so scary.
It is or it isn't, but they can get rid of it.
Absolutely.
They just take your thyroid out. You're on medication, and that's sort of my attitude with life.
There you go. Well, you know what? If you're not positive, you can't expect what's going to happen. We have to be positive for ourselves. We have to advocate for ourselves.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So people can become involved by donating, and you have at the end of the show, and we're going to share the show. We're doing a shorter segment. Our show tomorrow was on bullying. We're going to shoot it today, so you can get home and take care of your husband.
Thank you.
And we're going to talk a little bit about feminism, bullying, and some of the things that you've experienced. But I just really wanted you to talk about and really get on and discuss the valley fever and how as a community we can make a difference, because we do so much with cancer awareness and Relay for Life. I swear I don't drink. It's Goose. He gets me just combobulated. He's holding signs back there, but no.
Knock it off, Goose.
So how can we see? He's a cheerleader. How can we make a difference? So how can we donate to your cause?
So we'll share a link for our GoFundMe page. But in all reality, it's just talking about it. If you're in the grocery store and you see someone sick, ask them about valley fever. Tell them about valley fever. If your friends, your neighbors, your family members, your coworkers know the signs. They're just like the flu. Misdiagnosis is so common.
Right.
Headache, fever, rash, cough, exhaustion.
All that, no.
But it's better safe than disseminated.
Sorry, right.
So, get tested. Don't feel like you're bugging your doctor.
Right.
Doctors nowadays, it's like a marathon for them. I mean, they're in and out. They're sprinting races.
Yeah.
And they don't really want to take the time to really assess people. And so it depends on us to advocate for ourselves.
Absolutely.
Had I known about valley fever, my husband wouldn't be dealing with what he's dealing with right now.
So what is his prognosis? Is he getting better, or is he slowly...
Yeah, so the meds are killing him slowly. The doctor at one point, I'll share
But
some...
he's been here 11 years since.
Yeah, 10 years.
10 years.
So the medication that my husband's on, Vfend, the side effect is skin cancer. So I'll share some photos later today in the comments.
Okay.
But my husband's suffering with skin cancer. But I always tell people when they go...
Melanoma?
No, so squamous cell carcinoma.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And that is because his immune system is suppressed with the medication. Right. So we tell the doctor one time, what can we do, to stop this skin cancer?
Did they talk to you about chemical pills?
So we've done those. We actually did a chemical peel with my husband.
Right.
It was terrible.
You can do a lightweight.
It was, yeah.
I have skin cancer in the family, so I get light skin pills, and it's really funny because there are haters out there that think it's for cosmetic reasons, but it's not. It gets rid of the precancerous cells.
Absolutely. Well, my husband's
it's
skin,
approved. Yeah, my insurance pays for it.
Yes, but his skin is a little bit more far beyond the precancerous stages. I'll share some photos.
Yeah.
But the doctor, when we asked what can we do, he said, look, you die slowly with the medications or you die quickly without them. So those are our two choices.
Is he suffering? Is he in pain? And
absolutely.
Wow.
He has not been able to wear his wedding ring for over a year now, just because of all of the sores, and you cannot get a dime and put it on my husband and have a clear area that it won't touch. There's growths on growths on growths. So we go every
Poor
6
thing.
weeks, and they either cut him, they burn him, or they freeze him, depending on the look and the size. The doctor analyzes them, and they can only do so many treatments, and then we have to wait and go back.
Right.
I'm getting used to the way that our skin, flesh smells when it burns.
Yeah, that's quite, I've had, yeah.
That smell.
Your smell is different than smelling someone else, which is quite interesting.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, because my doctor, I recently had surgery, and he burns the skin where the stitches are. So when he cuts it, he does a line so you don't have blood loss.
Okay.
And I'm like, it smelled bad, but it didn't smell as bad as like when you're with. It was interesting. He goes, that's normal.
Okay, so when you smell your own skin burning, it's not as bad as smelling someone else's skin burning.
Correct.
Okay.
In my opinion.
Most awful
It's horrible.
smell.
It's like
Horrible.
burnt hair smell.
Yeah. So all I can do is just hold his hand, and that's when we can.
Right.
And I could just be there for him, but there's really nothing other than support that I can do for him.
Now, this is a nonprofit. You're not paid to work for Valley Fever?
No, ma'am. So we're a community organization. Nobody gets paid. Nobody's doing, anything. We've gotten probably about $300 so far in 2 years. So we just recently started. We have like a cup fundraiser and stuff. We just recently started doing that. For the past 2 years, my husband gets Social Security disability, and I'm a beneficiary of it.
Okay.
So I receive $232 a month, and that's the budget that I use. My daughter recently turned 16, and at the age of 16, I'm not a beneficiary anymore. And so that's why we've started fundraising, because I don't get the $232 for our budget anymore.
Wow.
But we do a lot with a little. It's my story is free. Survivor's story is free. So
Right.
we come out in the community. We share information. I was just out at the California Distribution Center for the Caterpillar.
Okay.
And that was really
looks
exciting.
fun. That looked really exciting.
Yeah, it was exciting. So, I went to their safety meeting, educated on Valley Fever.
Nice.
I go out to lots of different establishments here.
Well, maybe we could have a
meetings.
fundraiser we should put together a fundraiser.
That'd be awesome.
At the
Absolutely.
Petroleum Club, and maybe Borden Bakersfield can participate in it, and
Okay.
Kerncast.
Absolutely. That would be wonderful.
And of course, the Kelly Gladden Show.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, awareness saves lives. It's true, and it's a fact. I wish, my only regret is not knowing about Valley Fever. So
Right.
when I'm in line at the grocery store, that's how I got so many Facebook friends. And if you're in line in front of me or behind me, we're Facebook friends.
And how many friends do you have now?
I think around right under 4,000, somewhere around that. And about 3/4 of them I personally know. It's not,
quite interesting.
I've met.
So on my phone, it doesn't tell you how many friends you have.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know what I did to my phone. I mean, I'm a hot mess. Not even gonna lie, or my iPad. So I went on my computer. I have 4,776 friends.
There you go.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
I started deleting people because I was worried I was going to get close to the magic 5. And you have to start deleting because then you're a public figure.
Okay.
But
Is
maybe
that
we
how it
should
works?
go to Yeah, I've already been shut down twice. But
Wow.
maybe I should do the public figure so then my children don't get embarrassed when, I could write to them on their stuff. 'Cause,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Come on, but we got to embarrass the
I know,
kids.
don't they?
Absolutely.
Well, it's been such a pleasure, and we're going to put up the link, and we're going to share this and share it to different organizations, the first responders. I mean, everyone that's out there. There's fires going on. There's dirt being moved, construction sites.
Absolutely.
Make America great again, because I know they have some money they could possibly support your cause.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah, any help is great help, The key here is just really sharing
Help.
your story.
Right.
I mean, a lot of people always try to tell me, you need a lot to do a lot. And I say, no, you need a little with a big heart to get it
Yeah.
done.
You need media.
Absolutely.
Right.
Media always helps, you know,
Right.
being on programs like this, knowing, hopefully you guys will share it and say, hey, do you know about valley fever?
Yes.
Do you know that when there's an earthquake, the instances of cases go up?
Wow.
Recently, about 6 months ago, Julie out in Santa Paula, she passed away from valley fever.
Wow.
Well, she got it during the Northridge earthquake, but she was misdiagnosed for like 14 years, and then they finally found the valley fever, but it had
Wow.
already affected her organs. And
I think
she
everybody
passed
should
away.
ask for valley fever testing and thyroid.
Absolutely,
Just,
I agree.
you know, do it.
I agree. I always tell people, I say, you know, when you go to your yearly physical, just have them check on valley fever. Our insurance pays for the test.
Right.
It's not an expense that we have to incur.
Right.
It will be paid for through our insurance. So,
Right. Well, thank you so much. It was a pleasure having you on.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
And then she'll answer questions because she's an expert. So, and then you're going to share this to all your friends and
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
we can get maybe a big discussion and find some, you know, if you have some ideas for fundraisers or how we can help with valley fever, let us know.
Absolutely. And thank you. Please know the signs and share your story. People will forget a lot, but they will never forget your story.
Amen.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.